You wake up at dawn to the sound of a rooster. But you're not on a farm. You're in the heart of the greatest city in the ancient world, surrounded by 1,000,000 other people crammed into buildings that regularly collapse and kill their residents. Welcome to Daily Life in Rome. Most of what you think you know about ancient Rome is wrong. The image in your head, the marble temples and noble senators in pristine togas, that's the postcard version. The truth is far stranger, more brutal, and infinitely more interesting. This is what it was actually like to live there. Let's start with your home. If you're one of the 99% who isn't fabulously wealthy, you don't live in a villa with a courtyard fountain. You live in an insula, a cheaply constructed apartment block that rises 5 or 6 stories high. The higher your floor, the cheaper your rent, and the more dangerous your life. These buildings are thrown up as fast as possible by landlords who care only about profit. They have no running water above the first floor, no heat except for a charcoal brazier that fills your room with smoke. And the whole structure is held together with wood and hope. Fire is a constant terror. Rome burns regularly. The insulae go up like kindling, trapping families on the upper floors. Collapse is just as common. You might go to bed one night and wake up buried in rubble if you wake up at all. There are no building codes, no inspectors, just slum lords and desperation. Forget privacy, your walls are thin. You hear everything your neighbors do, every argument, every transaction, every bodily function. Speaking of which, there's no bathroom in your apartment. You have 2 options. You can stumble down 5 flights of stairs in the dark to use the public latrine, or you can use a pot and dump it out your window into the street below. Most people choose option 2. The streets are filthy. Waste rains down from above without warning. Pedestrians shout a warning, but not everyone hears it in time. The smell is overwhelming. Human waste, animal carcasses, rotting garbage, all baking in the Mediterranean sun. You learn to walk close to the buildings, staying under the slight shelter of the upper floors. You learn to watch the windows above you. You develop reflexes. But here's what makes Rome truly alien to modern sensibilities. None of this is hidden. The poverty, the filth, the danger. It all exists right next to the marble temples and the emperor's palace. A senator in his pristine toga might step over a dead beggar on his way to the forum. Wealth and squalor don't exist in separate neighborhoods. They're layered on top of each other, sometimes in the same building. And then there's the noise. Rome never sleeps. By law, wagons are banned from the streets during the day to reduce congestion. So every night the city fills with the thunderous sound of iron-rimmed wheels on stone. Thousands of wagons delivering goods, their drivers shouting, wheels crashing. Sleep is nearly impossible, but you're not trying to sleep yet. The sun is up. You need to eat. And that means venturing into the Roman streets to find breakfast. You don't have a kitchen. Most Romans don't. Fire in a wooden tenement is suicide, so cooking is forbidden in most insulae. Instead, you eat at a thermopolium, a fast food counter built into the street level of a building. The counter has large clay jars sunk into it, keeping stew and porridge warm. You pay a few coins and eat standing up. The food is heavy on beans and grains. Meat is a luxury. If you get any, it's probably a mystery. Better not to ask what went into the sausage. Wine is everywhere, but it's not what you think. Romans cut their wine with water, sometimes seawater, and they drink it at breakfast. Drinking it straight is considered barbaric. Getting drunk is common, but drinking unwatered wine marks you as uncivilized or desperate. Now you're fed. Time for work, assuming you have any. Employment is chaotic and unstable. Maybe you're a laborer at the docks, unloading grain ships from Egypt. Maybe you haul water or work in one of the massive public baths. If you're lucky, you have a trade: blacksmith, baker, fuller. If you're unlucky, you're selling yourself for whatever work appears that morning. But whatever you do, the threat of violence is constant. There's no police force. Not really. There are the vigils, basically firefighters who occasionally break up fights, but they're not patrolling your neighborhood. Justice is often personal. Gangs control entire districts. If you're robbed, you either settle it yourself or you let it go. Hired thugs are cheap. Political factions employ them to intimidate voters and beat opponents. During election season, the streets become war zones. You walk fast. You avoid eye contact. You know which alleys to skip. As the day fades, you face a choice. You can return to your stifling apartment, wedge a chair against the door, and try to sleep through the wagon noise. Or you can stay out. Rome after dark is a different creature. The taverns fill up. Prostitutes work openly. Gambling dens operate in back rooms. The Colosseum might be hosting an execution or a night event under torchlight. Violence spikes. Muggings are routine. Murders happen and bodies are found in the Tiber at dawn. You survive by knowing your place, keeping your head down, and never drawing attention. Rome is not the eternal city of legend. It's a grinding, filthy, suffocating machine that chews through human lives and spits out the bones. But it's also the center of the world, the heart of an empire. And for all its horrors, millions endure it because the alternative, life in the provinces or beyond the frontier, offers even less. This is the price of civilization. Rome doesn't lie about what it costs. It just makes you pay it every single day. So the next time you see a movie about ancient Rome, those gleaming marble columns and heroic speeches, remember what it actually smelled like. Remember the man emptying his chamber pot out a 6th-story window. Remember the child sleeping 3 to a bed in a building that might not survive the winter. The Rome you see in paintings never existed. The real Rome was a city where 1 million people woke up every morning and chose survival over dignity because they had no other choice. It was loud, brutal, and filthy. It was also the most powerful city on earth, and every empire since has been built on the same fundamental bargain, the same willingness to hide the suffering that makes civilization possible. Rome just did it more honestly. The glory and the squalor existed on the same street corner, are impossible to separate. That's the real lesson. Greatness has always had a price, and someone always has to pay it.